children, welcome back to the session Respiration Part 5. Today we are going to discuss about evolution in gaseous exchange. In previous class we discussed about cellular respiration, aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration and fermentation. And today we are going to discuss about evolution in gaseous exchange. See, in the lower organisms like amoeba, hydra, planaria, they don't have definite respiratory organs. Their diffusion takes place. The oxygen that is present in the media diffuses into the body, into the cell, and the carbon dioxide that is formed inside the cell diffuses out. So they don't have any definite respiratory organs or respiratory system. They have their respiration is very simple by a process called diffusion. Already we learned about diffusion, the movement of ions or molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration is called diffusion. So in these three organisms, in unicellular, majority of unicellular animals like amoeba, diffusion. Even in the multicellular animal like hydra and planaria also diffusion takes place. Now coming to the cockroach, grasshopper, insects. These insects, they developed a very specialized tubes called trachea. These tubes are distributed all over their body parts, and these trachea carry the gases from outside environment into the tissues directly. Exchange of gases takes place in the tissues directly. Oxygen diffuses into the tissues and carbon dioxide diffuses out of the tissues, and this is carried by trachea to outside. And these trachea are small tube-like structures, and all these trachea united to form a longitudinal trachea trunk. When the trachea enters into the tissues, it get divided into smaller branches called tracheoles, where the tracheoles exchange of gases takes place in the tracheoles. The full system we call it as tracheal system. Here in the cockroach, they have colorless blood. That's why blood does not play any role in the exchange of gases. So that's why they have developed a very specialized system called tracheal system, where the trachea divides into tracheoles and diffusion takes place or exchange of gases takes place in the tracheoles. Now coming to the fishes. Fishes are the aquatic animals. Aquatic animals respire through very specialized organs called oxygen, because fishes need to take the dissolved oxygen, so they need a very special arrangement of respiratory system called gills. And gills, the respiration through gills, we call it as branchial respiration. Respiration through trachea, we call it as tracheal respiration. Respiration through gills, we call it as branchial respiration. Let us see how the water enters into how the exchange of gases takes place in the fishes. First, have you seen, children, the fish opening and closing its mouth frequently? Why it is opening and closing its mouth means to draw the water into the respiratory system. First, the water enters into the mouth from outside. So then when the frog opens its mouth, the oral cavity, the floor of the oral cavity lowers, so the water will enter into the oral cavity. Then afterwards the frog will close its mouth, the oral cavity will raises, and the water is pushed into the pharynx, and the pharynx will open into gill pouches, and gill pouches contain gill lamella or gills, and this pharynx will open into gill pouches through internal branchial aperture, and these gill pouches will open outside through external branchial aperture. So from that, exchange of gases takes place in gill lamella, and this gill lamella are supplied with large number of blood capillaries. You can observe that red color stripes on the fish's body near the eye. Those are nothing but gill lamellae. So once again I will tell you, outside when the fish open its mouth, the water rushes into the mouth, and the floor of the oral cavity lowers down, so that the water will enter into the oral mouth. Then after that, the fish closes its mouth and the oral cavity raises and forcing the water into pharynx. From the pharynx, the water enters into the gill pouches. Gill pouches are bathed with water, and this gill pouch pharynx will open into gill pouches through internal branchial aperture, and gill pouches will open outside through external branchial aperture. Mouth, oral cavity, pharynx, internal branchial aperture, gill pouches, gill lamella, external branchial apertures. This is the flow of water in the branchial respiration in the fishes. Now let us go for the higher animals like frog. Frog respire through skin as well as through lungs. Respiration through skin, we call it as cutaneous respiration. Respiration through gills, we call it as branchial respiration. Respiration through skin, we call it as cutaneous respiration. Frog respire through skin. So to respire, the frog skin should be all the time moist. To keep its skin moist, the skin of the frog is supplied with large number of mucus glands which retain the water and prevent the drying of the skin. And it is also supplied with a blood vessel. So directly the oxygen diffuses into the skin. From skin it enters into the blood. Not only with the skin, it also sometimes respires through lungs. Respiration through skin, we call it as cutaneous respiration. So frog should keep its skin all the time moist. If the skin of the frog dries, the frog will die. So that's why we frequently observe that frog jumping into the water to make its body moist. Now coming to the higher animals like reptiles, aves, mammals, all these three organisms respire through lungs. Respire through lungs. Respiration through lungs is called pulmonary respiration. What we call it? Pulmonary respiration. Respiration through lungs, we call it as pulmonary respiration. So branchial respiration is seen in fishes and aquatic animals. Tracheal respiration is seen in insects. Cutaneous respiration is seen in frogs. Reptiles, aves, mammals. Respiration is pulmonary respiration. Now, okay children, we go back to the respiration in plants. Plants do respire. Yes, plants certainly respire. Not only photosynthesis, they also perform respiration because they also need energy for their activities. Now let us discuss respiration in plants. Majorly stomata. First we go for the stomata. We see small opening on the surface of the leaf. Those small openings we call stomata, and stomata consist of two kidney shaped cells called guard cells. Through these guard cells, through this stomata, exchange of gases takes place. Not only that, the intercellular space in the leaf is very loosely packed with air spaces, so that from the stomata the air diffuses into cells and tissues. Not only through stomata, sometimes plants also respire through very specialized opening on the stem called lenticels. Lenticels are the small openings seen on the mature stems. In the lenticel, the cells are very loosely packed, and so that exchange of gases takes place by a process called diffusion. And roots, as usual, plants also respire through roots. Already we know that when the soil is very loose, the air can diffuse into the plant and help for the growth of the plant. That's why farmers plow the field before sowing the seeds, to make the soil loose so that air can penetrate into the roots for respiration. Next, coming to some other specialized plants which live in waterlogged condition called mangrove plants. These mangrove plants developed a very specialized roots called aerial roots. We already learned in class 9th nematophores or aerial roots. These aerial roots develop from the main root and they are protrude out, and with the help of these specialized protruded aerial roots, these mangrove plants will respire. So different types of respiratory system is seen in plants. Now let us go for the activity. We already discussed that carbon dioxide and heat are evolved during respiration. For this we can conduct a small activity. First we need germinating seeds or sprouted seeds. First we know how to germinate the seeds. First take a handful of seeds, soak them in water of a beaker for a day. Then drain out the water. Keep the seeds in a dry cloth and tie it tightly and keep aside for a day. And the next day you find that seeds germinated, and such seeds we call them as sprouted seeds or germinated seeds. Take a handful of germinated seeds in a beaker, in a glass bottle, and fix it with a airtight rubber cork. Before fixing it, you insert a small syringe bottle or any small beaker and fill the beaker with lime water, and this lime water, and keep the set of the apparatus aside without disturbing. After some days, after 1 or 2 days, you observe this lime water turns into lime water turns into milky white, indicating that the presence of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide has a property of changing lime water in milky white. So by this we can say that CO2 is liberated during respiration. Now we perform another experiment that heat is liberated during respiration. For the same germinating seeds you need to take the germinating seeds in a thermoflask and insert one thermometer into the thermoflask with the help of a rubber cork. Now first you take the initial temperature and you go on observing the temperatures for every 1 hour, like 24 hours you continuously observe the temperature. When you observed it, there will be slight raise in the temperature. Slowly the temperature rises in the thermometer. Where you should compare with the initial temperature and final temperature. Definitely there will be raise in the temperature. By this experiment we can say that germinated seeds had undergo respiration and release heat, and heat helps for the raise in the temperature. Heat helps in the raising the temperature. By these two activities we can say that carbon dioxide and heat is evolved during respiration. Now let us discuss a small topic of respiration versus photosynthesis. We already know photosynthesis is an anabolic process. Anabolic process means the process in which a large complex molecule is formed from the simple molecule. Simple molecules like simple elements like carbon dioxide and water, we are going to get a complex carbohydrates. In respiration, solar energy is converted into chemical energy. With the help of the solar energy, chemical energy is produced. Whereas in photosynthesis, whereas in respiration, the glucose is broken down, the complex molecule is broken down into the simpler substances to release energy in the form of ATP. And photosynthesis, plants perform photosynthesis in the presence of light. Whereas respiration is a continuous process, it is independent of light. Any living organism cannot survive in the absence of respiration. Plants can survive even in the absence of photosynthesis for few days. And photosynthesis takes place in the chloroplast of green plants, whereas respiration takes place in each and every cell in the mitochondria. Each and every cell have mitochondria, and mitochondrial matrix oxidize the glucose to produce energy. And in respiration, large amount of energy is released, which is used for all the vital activity. And photosynthesis is called anabolic process, and respiration is called catabolic process. Catabolic process means where the breakdown of energy, where the complex molecule is broken down, we call it as catabolic process. Okay children, thank you, and tomorrow next session we meet in another topic.